Tuesday, April 22nd to order. Okay, first off, I'd like to welcome new water commissioner, Mark McLeod. Thank you for putting your name in the hat and whatever that's called, and
On the ballot.
on the ballot by write-in, and
Anyways,
welcome. We'll have fun, hopefully, and get something done. Right?
Thank you.
Minutes of the last meeting.
Motion made to accept the minutes of the the April 7th meeting.
I'll second. All in favor?
All right.
That's for. Okay, warrants are being signed. No abatements or refunds this week?
Not that I know of, no.
All right, I didn't see any. Okay, James Hoyt is not coming in tonight. You can give us updates as far as what's going on. And the first item of new business now then is to reorganize the Board of Water Commissioners. The last commissioner who just resigned, Mr. Cragen, was in fact the clerk of the commission.
I make a motion for Art Cabral to be the chairman.
Second.
Any further
You
comment?
didn't want to take that?
No.
All in favor?
No, Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, you're doing a fantastic job running this board.
All right. I will entertain a motion for a clerk. With being the longest serving member, would you like to become the clerk, sir?
I will graciously accept same.
I would rather not dump it on someone on his first night.
Right.
So I will make a motion to make John Cruz the clerk of the Water Commission.
I second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. You can't oppose. And you will be listed as member
Perfect.
on that. That being done. Okay, old business, still waiting to hear anything on that contractor's yard appeal. They're supposed to be coming back with a plan of some sort, but we haven't gotten any information yet. So we will go to Sear Street, Norman Ave treatment plant, stations 1, 2, and 4.
So
Update.
we're moving towards town meeting. It's just, that's all I've been doing. So I have a pretty good slide presentation. I'll take them through data. I'll show them our system. I don't consider it a slam dunk because it's a lot of, in the end, it's probably going to be close to $20 million. It's not just the Sear Norman. There are parts that are going to be added to it afterwards. So I have a fairly good slide presentation. I don't have any issues talking at town meeting. I actually like it.
Just
So,
explain the case, why we need to do it.
yep. And so I think I explain it out and detail it out pretty well. And then I explain out what happens if you decide to say no.
Which is we have to shut it down eventually.
And then we have to shut it down, yes.
Do we have anything, good backup numbers from Tater and Howard as far as if somebody starts asking why things are costing so much, or?
So
We have updated numbers, not
yes,
just.
I have numbers in there. Well, I kind of put it together at the end and tell them. So there's the original 10.7 that we asked for and got approved for. Now there's the 6.166 million that we're asking for to cover what, so in the plant, you haven't been here, Mark, but the plant changed. We stretched it to allow for PFAS vessels to come in and be put in place after the fact. We added an aeration tower to reduce our costs. We have potassium hydroxide is how we raise the pH of the water. We're required to do it for our lead and copper. So the aeration tower reduces our dependency on the potassium hydroxide. We take between 5 and 7 of those tankers a year. Currently, they're running anywhere between $20,000 and $25,000. I don't know if they're tariffed or not, so they could jump a lot because it comes
Russia.
from overseas. Yes.
Basically, I mean, most of the stuff comes from Russia. I
Right.
don't know about all of it, but.
Yep. So that's a good part of it. And the other part is just the cost alone. When we bid Manley Street, nobody was sharpening their pencils because everybody's building iron and manganese treatment plants. So all the contractors are busy. They don't have to sharpen their pencils.
The good thing, though, we did get interest for the pre-qualified bidders.
Yeah.
Was really high for this job.
Yeah. So we have, it's not like Manley
We
Street.
might get
More
decent
competitive,
number of
yeah.
competitive
Yeah.
bids.
And they're all asking too. They keep asking that they haven't heard anything. Well, you were just pre-qualifying. If you didn't pre-qualify, we probably would have prodded you. I don't think anybody, I'm trying to remember if anybody actually dropped out, other than that one who they were gonna sit with and get them to.
Did you hear if anything came out of that?
I didn't hear anything bad, but I didn't hear anything good out of it either.
So is this a building?
So right up at the, so actually looking straight out on the top of that hill back there will be, a treatment
So
plant.
it's over here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's out straight out there, and it's basically whole new building, a lot of piping, all kinds of chemical facilities inside.
But you're gonna get a lot of bidders. You know,
Yeah.
$20 million job.
We should, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of vessels, a lot of,
But on the
You can
$4
add it
million
to-
job, on the $4 million job, we didn't get much at all, not much
no, 'cause it was
interest.
a small job.
Right. But still, a small job you can knock off quickly, it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be hopefully coming up. We got SRF funding for it. How much do we still don't know the final amount of,
No, because they have to go back and ask for more.
yeah. But it doesn't matter, we have to approve the full amount
We have to.
anyway.
Right.
You have to get up with times. You know what I mean? You gotta make this stuff work.
Yeah. No, and again, we need the plants running to be able to, or else
Right.
we gotta shut down some of the water. So,
And water bans and all that fun stuff.
well, might not even, if you just had one going through the summer, we'd have a real problem. And we,
So we went through the winter in a stage 3 drought. There's only one more level up. We came down to a 2, we're down to a 1, but we're sporadic rain again. And
Going
the
back.
ground's drying up. So we're gonna go back up to a 2 probably, unless we get some rain to hit.
When was the last time we weren't in drought conditions, according to the regulations?
There's usually a drought of one kind or another.
Yeah.
I've been keeping quiet because we need to generate revenue, but I've been here for 20 years. There used to be places where ducks existed almost year round. Those puddles are all gone now. Even our peat bog, where it sounded like a zoo back there, dries up now. And that's where our water comes from for the wells. The bog still floats, because if you go out on it with a machine, you can feel
yeah,
it.
the water's still down underneath, it's just
Yeah.
not coming up the top like it used to.
Yep.
So as far as that project goes, so he should have final drawings to send to us, right? Because we never got he was gonna have like a
Right, he hasn't gotten
95% set.
95%.
So we're still waiting on that.
Yeah, so as soon as Annie can stamp and certify that we approved, yeah, they'll be turning in. So he should be turning drawings to us really shortly, because I'm gonna come back from vacation right into town meeting.
Yeah. If you're gonna hole up somewhere and just practice for a week.
No, I hate reading from the paper. I love to shoot off the cuff, because I know all the stuff at the top of my head. But I made the PowerPoint to talk to it, and then I'll just ad lib in between.
Well, when you're up there like that, it helps if they got something they can look at.
Right.
And
It's easy for me to say numbers, but it's easier if they're looking up
Right.
at it at the same
Right.
time. So
Put
I'll
two
show them
together.
pictures of the plant. I'll show them pictures of the coming down the street. So I explain where the money, I explain everything that happened.
Yeah. And the good old, why we have to do it.
Yeah. Well, everybody keeps, oh, we don't drink the water, we drink bottled water. Well, I let them know, I make a comparison to the bottled water and our water, because they're regulated by FDA. Do you know that the FDA, there was an E. coli outbreak on romaine lettuce? 13 states were hit with it. Somebody died, and a lot of people got sickened, and the FDA did not announce it because they didn't have to.
No, that's one thing. Anything does go wrong, we have to announce it and then
Yes.
some, constantly.
Yep. I've gotten a couple of calls on the CCR, and I've taken them directly, and one lady I went right through the thing with. I'm like, it's better to have good press than bad press.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it came in the mail. I haven't actually opened it yet.
I need to do that because there are 2 tier 3 announcements in there, so I needed to get it out.
Yep. And since we're on TV, and those were?
So one was, we missed a sample for arsenic,
Yep.
and I sampled right away. It was just out of the quarter, so, and there was 0 non-detect.
Yep.
And then the other one is because we were part of the government's, the EPA's UMCR5 testing for new unknown chemicals. And that's all it was, is because we tested it, I had to tell them why those results were in the CCR.
So tier 3 violations that weren't really any,
Right, then I.
you didn't find anything in the water. It was just one
Right.
was a
Yep.
week late and the other one was because of the other
Right.
program. Okay.
And that's why we modified so that Carrie does the thing so that we can get the samples and we stay on track and we can pay attention to other things.
Yep. Alright. And how about Manley Street?
So the construction is moving along. I think at the next meeting, they'll have timeframes. They did get a time frame back. I think it was 2 weeks for the parts for the, so as part of the Manley Street PFAS, we're also changing the media out. The media that we have is the original green sand, so we excite it with permanganate, potassium permanganate, and that's what removes the manganese. So green sand, we're gonna replace it with green sand plus, which doesn't use any permanganate, so we'll do away with one chemical. The original media has outlived its life, so we've been piloting in a spare filter we had for PFAS removal, and we came out of the gate at 0, but then the numbers started to rise, which told us something was going wrong. So we opened up the PFAS vessel and saw that we had fouled the media with iron, manganese, and potassium permanganate. So the old filters, they've run their course of life, so it was a good thing that was included in the project. So we gave up one of the green sand vessels that left us 2 to run by, so we're running at a reduced rate now. We opened it up so we could see inside. The vessels are 22 years old. We wanted to see what was inside. So the vessels are in great shape, but at the bottom is what's called a sand filter, and it's a copper brass plate that makes sure that the media doesn't go out into the system so that it stays in the filter. But they're made out of copper and brass instead of stainless back in the day, so they need to be all replaced. And there's somewhere between 20 and 30 of them, so they have to go in and ear chisel out around them just to unscrew them and then screw in the new ones. So there's a 2-week lead time on that. We haven't gotten the cost on that. That's what they're waiting for. It's 2 weeks lead time to get the parts.
Yeah.
They just hadn't received the cost for it yet. So once they have all of the parts, we're gonna shut Manley down and give them the plant, and then they're gonna make all the updates except for the PFAS. The PFAS building is up, it has heat, it has ventilation, it has lights, but we're waiting on the tanks to come in, and then we need the PFAS media. So that can be, every time you do something to your water, DEP has to approve it, and it's a long process, and then they have to inspect it, and then we have to qualify it, so it requires a lot of different samples. So we're gonna be able to do it in steps. We have the pilot PFAS filter still online, so we're gonna change out the green sand media, we're gonna swap out, we have what's called Myox, mixed oxidants, we make our own chlorine. It doesn't work and the cost went up, but the cell lasts about a year. It used to cost $4,000, that was okay, and you just buy sodium chloride salt, and it runs itself. But the price has dropped to $12,000 for one of them cells that last a year. And we go through 2 of them, that's $24,000 in operating costs. So then we wipe that out and we're gonna use sodium hypochlorite, chlorine, instead. We use chlorine to sanitize, and then we also use it to remove the iron. Manley Street is a log 4, so it removes 99.99% of viruses and anything else with the chlorination being up at a certain level. We have to run that level through the filters, and then by the time it comes out of the filters, it's lost a lot of what we sent in, but it still stays up high enough to stay a log 4 compliant plant when it goes out. And then we bump it up a little more to get it so that out in the system when we sample, we don't take a bacteria hit. So that's why we're switching from the Myox to the chlorine, but we have to qualify that also. So that will happen in conjunction with the green sand media. So once that comes back up, the PFAS plant can do whatever it's doing, and when it's ready, we can bring it online to test it, run it to waste, then we shut it down again, and we run through the PFAS filter until the PFAS building itself qualifies, and then the whole system goes online. That's supposed to happen sometime in July. They're supposed to turn it over to us. So it will probably take me till August to qualify the PFAS building. If we can give it to them and they get the other parts done, we qualify in advance for that, and then just do the qualifications of the PFAS building after. But they're gonna need the plant probably for almost a month. We're now heading into summer and the grass is growing and these people love their green
I
lawns.
came by 2 active sprinklers on the way here tonight.
I know, and we're gonna lose those 2 wells.
Eventually, we ended up doing those 2 green sand filters with the green sand plus.
Yep.
Leaving the other one running with the PFAS.
Right.
When we get the new building, that other one on schedule to be,
No, so I'll have to come back to town meeting and see if the voters want to approve another, it's probably close to $700,000 to switch the piloting PFAS filter over to a green sand plus filter. So when I added up the numbers right now, we have the Manley Street project is 4.86 million. The ARPA funds give us somewhere around $890,000 of grant. I've asked them for an exact number, they haven't gotten back to me. We have the SRF principal forgiveness at $658,609. So that brings the total cost of the plant right now down to $3.3 million. We just received an SDC, it's a Small Systems, Disadvantaged Systems grant. So that was $3 million, which is spread between the 2 projects, Sear Norman here and Manley Street. They haven't told me what they're gonna split. I just sent off the paperwork to David and Scott to fill out our W-9 form so that they can continue on their way approving us. And then they'll tell us how they're gonna split it. So that should drop that from 3.3 down even further. And we have a 0% interest loan for Manley Street, so we did receive that out of the SRF.
0%?
Yes.
and then we're chasing the same for CO.
And that's what we're chasing right here too. So we're already approved for that. And we didn't pull it down when we saw costs going up. They told us not to, submit as is, and then tell us how much it's gone up, and then they'll reapprove us for the higher amount. But they won't tell us whether we have 0% or what they're gonna give us until we get through. So the Manley Street got 16.8%. If we can get that out of this, that would be a good number off of this one. But I don't know if
For
that'll
the
happen.
principal forgiveness.
Yeah. I know, we're saying a lot, Mark.
Well,
0% is great.
Basically, and Wayne has been doing an excellent job on this.
Chase.
He's the one that chases all this stuff down with the funding agencies and going back and forth with everybody, going back and forth, getting the information from Tater and Howard, the company we use
Yeah.
for all this work. And it saves the town a bunch of money and it saves it off the rates. So then, down the road, anything that we can't get free or real cheap is gonna be bumping up the rates pretty hard. So and that pretty much does come from Wayne's efforts chasing all this stuff down. It's usually Sean and his fire phone.
Yeah.
This off here.
Well, thanks, Wayne, for the update.
Yeah, anything-
And millions of
anything else
money
on Manley Street?
dollars.
No, there are a couple of change orders. So we're waiting, we don't have the change order yet for the sand,
Yeah, cause they don't have a price.
they
yet.
don't have the price yet.
But they're going ahead as if.
Right. So we added a couple of lights inside of the PFAS building. That was a $2,600 change order.
Yeah, you brought that up at the last meeting, I think, right?
Yeah. They are gonna pave, but we were given a price just to pave the rest of what we did up, because they pretty much shredded up the driveway. They did a good job patching it, but this will sit, because if the sand filters eat up the money, then we have the paving inclusion would be $9,400.
How much?
$9,400 to include more of it. But they're gonna pave a lot of it anyways. We were just trying to get the whole thing done if we could, but that might not happen, it depends. And then the lights, the thing, yep, that was for the lights. And that's it right now, so I don't have the sand filter change order yet.
That, which is gonna be probably the big
Right.
one, cause that's a lot of,
What's that gonna be about?
They're just small parts, but then there's the manual labor that they've gotta get in and chip the things out and put them in. That could be somewhere $5,000 to $10,000.
I mean, crappy freaking design to have, something like that that's
Right.
gonna rot. You'd think it'd make it easy to take it out.
But that's why we gave up one of the filters right away, so that they could look inside and see what we were gonna find, because it sits below a stainless screen. They had to cut that out to get at it and then remove the rock bedding that's on top of it. So all of that has to go back in, but that's already included in the media replacement. What wasn't was the screen and then the sand filters that sit at the bottom.
Why was it copper years ago? Was there a reason for the copper because of the metal, or is it just?
They never said, but somewhere along the way they knew and they switched right away. So it was in the beginnings of green sand filter plants.
You know, somebody made a decision and it turned out to be the
And
wrong
those
one.
wells were heavy in iron and manganese, and they almost doubled in the level that we pull in, so the plant has done its job.
Okay.
And the vessels are good, so we don't have to replace any of them.
Well, that's, you know, be thankful for small things, because that
Right.
would, but it does let us keep going, and then
Yeah.
eventually, if we can get the third one online, we can get a production up
Right.
some too.
As part of that, they're also gonna reline the river well. We've been having issues with E. coli hits in the raw water and a lot of total coliform, but because we're 4-log compliant, if it comes in the finished water and it's good, we don't have to do anything because it's taken care
we're
of
killing
with the
it.
chlorination. The chlorination is killing it and we're filtering it out. So that's what 4-log does for us. This new plant will be 4-log also. But since we've raised the chlorine residuals in town, we haven't taken a total coliform hit now, and I don't like to say it, but we're past sampling this month, 2 years. We were taking them every month before.
Well, you are using a bunch more chlorine.
Right.
It's noticeable. the
Yeah,
chlorine
I mean,
in
you
the
can
water.
smell it, I can't taste it, but you're gonna smell it, everybody stands at the kitchen sink, you're gonna smell it, cause it's aerated and it hits a bowl, so it comes right up at you. And if you go to brush your teeth, you're leaning into it, so you're gonna smell it there. But if you're taking a shower, I've never smelled it in my shower. And I don't taste it in the water. We try to keep it as low as we can, but still stay a residual out there.
We've been having any in the tanks either?
Yep, and we're carrying so our water ages, we have the 6 million gallon, the 5 million gallon tank is oversized, but it costs too much to do anything with it. So we had it painted recently and it's in good shape, so we'll just keep running with it. But the water ages as it sits in there because it's too big. We only need the top, you can only use the top 25% anyway, so the rest of it is just kind of waste, but it's in there and there's nothing you can do about it.
And we don't have a problem up at the one on.
No, so far we've been
Walnut.
cycling that, so we raised that, as long as we're moving it above in the 4-foot range, we seem to be carrying a residual there.
Anything else on? And jump in, any questions you have, Mark, just sing out.
Yeah, and that's about it
Okay.
right now.
Let's see, Communications Committee is the next thing on old business. That was Dylan's.
Oh, I meant to add that into the
Maybe.
sheet to get people to sign up, because,
Went to the
And-
CCR, you mean?
no, well, I should have put it in the CCR too, but, you know, people that get Larry, they don't want to be plagued with, you know, bogus calls on their phone, and I get it, but everybody signs up for National Grid, and they plague you when something's happening. And maybe if the water department just created their own call thing, and I don't know what that costs, they might trust it more because we're a utility. But at the meeting, I'll make sure I say something to it.
Okay.
That people need to sign up, but it's anonymous, it's just so we can tell you when we do things.
Yeah, if we're shutting down your street, you know,
Right.
that's all. Speaking of that, you guys shut down Cohasset Lane a week or two ago?
Yeah, we had a service leak down there,
Okay.
so they shut it down so we could be in a dry hole. And they were pretty quick about that. They got right to the curb stop so they could shut it off and then work.
Okay.
It wasn't as bad as Pebbles Road, which turned out to be a disaster. But we went in at it thinking it was one thing, and it turned into a service leak. Well, our machine's not big enough. If you dig this way, we can't turn around and dig that way. You just can't. And the hole was so wet, it just kept sinking on us.
Pebbles.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know the last time Dylan was saying that basically that website was up and we don't, should we be looking to replace Dylan on that committee or?
I think they're
we're
pretty much like it's done, like the website has changed and the other thing is up and running, it's just people have to think. It would have been nice if we were included in it, cause we're the people that they keep pestering, well, you're shutting, and you're notifying the people. Well,
Yeah.
you didn't give me access, how am I supposed to do that? I'm doing what I can, I post to the town's website.
All right. And Kerry's got access into that new one, right?
To the town, yeah, to
Yeah.
the town, so we can post up there, and if not, if she's out, I reach out to Annie or Sharon.
Okay. Okay, next thing on that agenda is the superintendent's job description. I don't know if you have a copy you could give to Mark of that. What we're doing is Wayne's gonna be retiring in 5, 6 years.
No.
And we're gonna start going through, coming up with, so we don't get caught short, job description, and start looking at how we're gonna advertise for the position, what it does, if it's, is something that someone would be from inside, or if we gotta go outside. And we're trying to start it early, so we don't get caught short later on. So he pulled together a bunch of information to go through. We figured give it a couple of months, maybe over the summer, start really looking at it. To see about what we can come up with. It's getting tougher and tougher to get people between the license requirements, what you have to know to do again, it's not like it's just running the plants, running the distribution system, it's all the stuff he does with DEP. And the amount of money we're saving from him chasing stuff around, things like that. And there's, rather than having it be a cluster when we go to finally replace them, we want to get a head start on it. He started by putting a list of all the stuff he does, and when he does it. Things like breaking the copy machine.
Yeah, what's up with that?
And you're gonna bring the 5 to 10 year plan you brought up too?
Yep, I'm gonna do that.
That's the same thing, he handed that thing out last time also. It's just a list of things he's thinking we need to be looking at, planning for to get done, things like meter replacements, other things like that. So that way you'll have it, you can take a look at it, get a little familiar with it. And then we gotta,
Zeke wanna leave it.
when is your time up, Wayne?
What?
When is your time up?
December 2026.
Yeah, so we got him for like another year, a little over a year and a half. Which should get us through getting all this plant and that plant out there, up and running and everything
Yeah.
smooth and automatic.
Yeah, because as soon as they get it, as soon as it'll go to DEP for approval, as soon as they approve it, they'll go out for bid. And then as soon as it's bid, within, I think 90 days, they'll be going to construction.
Yeah, yeah, it's the one thing, that SRF program that we're getting the money from the state. They have a lot of hard schedule lines, so they wanna make sure, they wanna make sure you get the money, and once you get the money, they wanna make sure everything proceeds, so there's no, changing your mind halfway down, or they commit the money to you, they don't want a 6-month delay, now someone else needs the money they don't have, they wanna make sure everything flows pretty good. And we've been fairly lucky on stuff, but again, part luck and part just plain Wayne on the phone harassing people and keeping up, well, I shouldn't even say harassing, just keeping up with people and making sure that we're at the top of mind, and if they need anything, we get it to them. Because one of these programs, they must have asked for, give us this, then, give us this, but add this. Give us, can we have, you already gave us this, okay, give us this. And if you don't do it, you fall off the list, and you don't get the money. Having fun? Oh, I
have one.
yeah, you didn't need to make me an extra copy, but I just want one for him, but. Got this one at home on the desk now.
Yeah.
And again, that's just something for us to get started with here on that. And I think he put 5 to 10 year plan because he doesn't want to have to deal with any of it before he leaves. So we're pushing it out to the 5th to 5.
Actually, I think we're doing some of it anyways.
Oh, yeah. The Manley Street.
I realize I got rid of my other note, ask him about it.
So like I said, if you just want to kind of go over that and, you know, your spare time and figure out what, just kind of get familiar with what he's talking about for projects and what gets done. Like I said, I figure another month or so, start actually looking at some of that stuff in more detail. There's nothing in the 5 to 10 year stuff we need to hit a town meeting or
No,
anything.
no, 2 of the things are already
Yeah,
happening.
Manley and Sear are already happening.
Actually, like 3 of them are happening, so.
Norman, the generator at Norman, is that happening? No, that's off.
No, that'll be in the future, but that's what I just made a note to ask Phil about the portable generator out of the transfer station.
Yeah.
Hey Wayne, on all the, just on that 5 or 10 year plan that we have here, I see that we're gonna be changing some 2-inch steel pipe. Do you ever change AC pipe that we have miles of it in town? Or
We
is
have
that-
17 miles, at $1 million a mile, there's no money.
And it's all mostly larger diameter pipe.
It's
too.
all of our 12-inch main too, so.
So that's more,
Oh, so the AC is also, but there's some 6-inch on,
Yeah,
like
there
South
is
Street.
6-inch, but a lot of it's the 12-inch that they ran
Okay,
because it was cheap, so that they started doing it.
yeah.
and it's really only an issue on dead end lines where it
Right,
leaches.
and we have
Or if you
blow-offs.
hit it with something and it
Yeah.
crushes.
It's coated anyways by a biofilm, so it's not,
Just from 50 years of use,
right.
or 70 years of use, actually.
No, it was a great thing they thought when it came out.
Yeah.
And then-
Yep.
And they changed
Yeah,
thought process.
Yes. Well, the good thing is they allow you to leave it in the ground now instead of
Right.
pulling it out.
Yeah.
just crush it and leave it in the trench.
No, you
Please
don't,
leave
you
it
don't
alone.
touch it.
Oh, you don't even crush it and
No.
you just have
Keep it off to
to,
the
you'll go
side.
parallel to it with another
Yeah.
one. Cause they're doing a couple of jobs. So I don't know where it was though, they dug down, just took the bucket and crushed down the bottom of the trench, put some stone and laid new ductile on top of it.
That makes it friable.
Yeah.
Well,
But if it stays in the ground
Every
better.
job I'm on, you gotta take it out, so I don't know where you guys are doing it.
That was a while ago.
So,
But-
you know, there's a job coming out in Randolph, there's,
Big money.
forced main, new main,
Yep,
take the asbestos out,
yep.
put the new water main in.
So they don't have the
That's coming
space.
out.
Yeah.
They
That's
go in
coming
the
out.
same trench?
Huh?
They go in the same trench?
No, they'll put it off to the side, but they want
They're
it
still
out,
taking
just
it
like
out.
lead pipes, they want them out.
Yeah, if you're just gonna leave them in the ground, but.
But like you say, you smash them, they're friable.
Yep. Right, update on the cross connection. Last meeting, I think we talked about sending
$600.
Deb and Brendan.
Yeah, $600 a person. Is it, or, no, I see 760. Sorry about that. No, that's for we're members, $600 per person. I still haven't said anything to anybody, so. But we need to, so we're required, so I've been doing annual report every year. At the end of the year, I have to turn in an annual report to DEP, tell them what we did, and they ask about our backflow prevention program. I've been looking at it kind of wrong, so I reevaluated it, and they're beginning to come down on regulations, so that we are supposed to survey a certain amount of the town. We don't do our own testing because it becomes a liability issue, so we source that out. At the money that we charge and the company charges us, it's a wash, but we make a profit right now because we don't want to keep jacking up the thing all the time. So it's set so that it runs over time. Eventually it'll have to be bumped up a bit, but not right now. The surveying can be done in-house. Other than that, we'll be charging every little business on top of having to test their units. Then they'll have to have it surveyed too, so they'll pay for that test. So if we do it in-house, we're not charging them, so they're getting something of value. And it just requires us doing a certain amount every year, and as long as we have a plan in place, they're happy, the DEP is happy with that.
Did you, because technically Deb's under Phil in DPW, I believe, right? Officially, as far as how the work gets
Yes,
spread
so
out.
that's,
So if before, I mean, I have no problem with her doing it. She's got.
right.
And then she can tie all the stuff in, track it on the GIS and
Yes,
everything
you can
else.
do it that
So it
way.
makes sense.
Right.
But before we send her on it, just,
I'll check with him, but it also ties in with inspectional services. We have all those contractor bays that nobody knows what's
Yep.
going on.
Yeah.
And the owner of the company doesn't care what he doesn't seem to realize there are regulations. So this would if we keep an eye on those contractor bays specifically, then you can year to year just throw them in and do them anyways, and then you keep track of who's doing what in what bay. There's that one on Crescent Street has like 14 bays or something in there, and they seem to flip over a lot.
oh, the one right at the north,
Yeah,
yep. But yeah, I mean, I have no problem with whoever you send, it's just where she kind of is a shared person.
she can tag it into the drawing and then have it.
Yeah.
So, and she can pull up spreadsheets of data that way.
No, it's a perfect idea, I just don't wanna step on
Yep,
jurisdictional toes in town, that's all.
right.
Is there a class coming up?
Yeah, I believe there is. It's not close, but it is coming up.
Close enough that we need to vote to send a couple people, or can we wait till you check with Phil and do it at a later meeting?
Yeah, you don't have to vote to send anybody. You just, if you okay it, it's not a voting kind of thing. If you have an issue, then you can vote on it, but other than that, I just send people for training.
Oh, you've got it in the training budget already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought it was extra money you
No.
were gonna need. All right, never mind. Okay. And what else have you got? Anything new? Newer than new that we can't vote on because it's not on the agenda?
So I've been doing this for 10 years. I've missed, I think, 3 commissioners meetings. I'm gonna miss my 4th coming up. So I won't be here at the next meeting because I'll be out of state. I always have my phone on me, so it's not a problem.
See if we can get James to be here for
All
that
right.
one.
Yeah.
Because that way we'll get current updates on what's going on. If you're not gonna be, he'll be able to update
Yeah.
us with whatever. And what's the date?
Yeah, when is the next meeting?
Next meeting would be May 5th.
Yeah, it's in the first week.
That's not another town holiday, right?
No.
As you found out, our meetings are first and third Monday unless it's a town Monday holiday, and then we go to the following day.
Yeah, it's the 5th.
Okay.
And it's Cinco de Mayo.
Yep.
Ah,
5th. And I'm sure, well, you know, you got sworn in, I'm sure they gave you the link, you have to do your state ethics class and the conflict of interest training and all that stuff. Make sure you do that, or else Annie will be sending you emails frequently reminding you to. And because we are a 3-person board, that means no 2 of us can ever be in a room talking about the water department at the same time, so keep that in mind.
I don't know the same as the Supreme Court has. He gets motorhomes and other things.
can you define a woman?
I can't even get a free cup of coffee.
No. some
As
medicine.
long as it's less than a $50 cup of coffee.
Right.
It doesn't add up to $50 over a year. You have anything you would like to ask tonight, Mark?
I do not, just
It was a lot of
taking
information.
it in.
It takes a while to get, there's a lot going on for a small town and this, kind of small department.
You know, you take it for granted when you turn the water faucet on in the morning to brush your teeth, what actually goes behind it, Iron, manganese removal, PFAS, chlorination, disinfection. It's not as simple as one thinks.
Oh, they've been exercising valves?
Yeah, they were out today.
All right, I didn't go past them, but I thought I saw them with the valve turning machine out
Yeah,
on
they were out.
Spring Street or something maybe today.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they went.
Yeah. All right, well, again, thank you for coming on board. If nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.